and sincerity. So you're in everyone's thoughts always, and appreciation of all the devotees.
Thank you, Maharaj. My computer just turned off and I was in panic. I didn't have the time to send a message saying, I'm late. Sorry.
All right, but you're fine, but your computer's not so fine.
Yeah, yes, the computer is now okay. I don't know what happened.
All right. Don't worry. We know these things happen, and inexplicably sometimes. All right, dear devotees. So we are coming together. Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu, our sadhu. Look, always looking like sadhu. Very good. So, dear devotees, Rama Sarup's phone entered. All right. So, devotees, without any further ado, let us greet each other. We just greeted Praneshwari, and let us greet each other. All right, being live streamed also on Facebook. Very good. So, dear devotees, Bancha Kaupa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhabhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And to Guru Om Jnanatimirandasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And to Mahaprabhu Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvijay Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And dear devotees on Facebook and on Zoom, those who are with us now and who will be with us presently in the recorded version. Jai Guru Maharaj. So, I won't tell you what's in my mind. I'll come and ask to you all. Is there something in the pending tray of your thoughts and questions which you would like to ask? Because I don't always give that opportunity to ask, but it is Zoom, we're fully interactive. So, we're fully together. So today, sometimes in the temple, also in the program, then we have a program, we have a regular format, but on different days, and we come in the temple, sometimes we are not exactly following that format and starting with any questions. And then from there, seeing that, what is in devotees' minds and question mark, what we do, why we're doing that, something which has been on our mind. Unless we ask you, we don't know what you may wish to have clarified. And there's a question from Rupanuga Prabhu in Australia. Prabhu, Dandavat from sunny Australia. You need to open your microphone, Rupanuga Prabhu. Microphone, click.
Yeah. Yes. Firstly, I declare I'm not in Australia. I'm in Koh Phangan and Ha Tien Beach.
Oh, okay.
Writing my book, but because of my travel and my limitation, and I perhaps forgot my japa beads, and I'm wondering, I still do the chanting. How important is it to count on the beads as you chant?
Okay, good question. And yes, it is important that we heard from Guru Maharaj repeatedly, from Gurudev repeatedly, that the japa beads should not fast. And so we should give our time to counting a certain number of rounds every day, to give some attention to that. And that minimum the minimum, not the maximum or the standard, was 4 rounds, because Guru Maharaj and Gurudev very aware that actually very few devotees, and in our sister mission that when we joined, after some time, we really do find very few devotees can chant actually 16 rounds a day. And Gurudev, he said that, I know what is Vaishnava Aparat, how serious is it, I know what is Guru Aparat and how serious it is not to follow the guidance of Guru. And therefore, and Guru Maharaj knows that too. I mean, of course, what Gurudev knows, Guru Maharaj knows. But this way, Guru Maharaj gave some relief to the devotees that if we are asked to do something, then we should indeed do it. So he gave some relief to the devotees at a minimum of 4 rounds. But this principle, which like an analogy, but that the beads will not fast, then we all know, children, you can't just leave the children at home with no food or something like that. So anyhow, by mistake, it does happen that we by accident leave the beads somewhere. Then do try to have some japa, have something you can chant on now to chant your rounds, but in like emergency that you are separated by a whole, sea and half of Australia, or the whole of the length of Australia to get to your beads, then make a prayer to your beads, offering your japa as the nourishment for your japa mala. This would be my recommendation, so that the beads will still be nourished. And in a similar way, we also feel and know that the deities in Navadip, for instance, here in Vila Govinda Ashram, and in many homes and temples around the world, and ashrams around the world, is the photo. They're worshipping the photo of the deities in Navadip. So they're offering food, they're offering the bhoga to the picture, but we know it and we feel it, that the deities in Navadip are receiving that food, that bhoga. So similarly, with our beads, if we've left our beads behind somehow by accident somewhere, then we would try to make our japa be conscious that we're actually chanting on the japa, dear beads, you're far away, but I'm counting on you. But you can, in Bali, you can buy regular beads, 108 beads, you can make 108 beads, you can count on your fingers 108 times, but devotees who do that, and sometimes I've done that, you spend so much time being conscious of your finger, or did I move that finger to there or not? You start spending more attention on the counting than on what we're saying. So these are some personal tips. And dare I say it, I do have the japa. Literally, there are some japa apps for the phone, and I have been stuck somewhere. And thankfully, so far, always we've had our beads at some point in the day. But I have been stuck somewhere, like we go out to an office or something, then you find you got to wait for an hour or something for the appointment. And then you want to read or chant japa. And there are apps where you click the phone. So I'm not recommending that as the daily way to count, but the phone can help us with a lot of things.
I have another question too. I honor my japa beads because they came from you in my initiation, and to me they represent purity, and I keep the bag clean and everything is beautiful. But when I was trapped in the Lismore floods, the beads were in my car and went under and in the dirty, filthy, stinking mud, and somehow they've lost that purity because there was, sewage in there and all of this sort of stuff. And I've dried them, I've had them out in the sun, on the Tulsi bush, but I still feel that they're stained. How best to purify the beads so that I can use them in the real spiritually pure, clean sense?
Prabhu, you can actually wash them. And in my life, which is now more than 40 years of chanting on the same beads, sometimes, I have noticed sometimes my beads are becoming like sticky. And I think, oh my goodness, even though we try to wash our hands, but if you touch a door or something, a painted door in the same place, year after year, you start to get something. And so twice in my life, I have washed my beads, actually washed them. I thought, well, maybe I need some soap and water here. Do a little cleansing of, if you could say physical cleansing, but when they actually feel sticky, you think, like you're saying, we would like them to be clean. And I was actually, the first time I did it, which was, many, many years, and I was a little cautious, but when I did it, then afterwards, the beads so clean and nice. And the other thing is, with a little help from your friends, you could get some Ganges water, and you can give them I don't mean soaking. Well, if you were in India in the Ganges, you could soak them in the Ganges water, I suppose. But I was thinking by, drops, make them wet with Ganges water. And by the way, you live by the sea. Australia is an island. Bali is made up of islands. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared that the sea has become a place of pilgrimage and greatly purifying. And Gurudev, he pointed this out for all salt water, not only going to that specific place in Puri where Mahaprabhu bathed the body of Haridas Thakur. So the ocean itself is considered as very purifying. So they're going to be a little salty, I suppose, but you've got your way of purification.
Yep. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And with a little help from your friends, maybe a new bead bag would be nice after that journey of the beads. But yes, these things happen. We can't avoid the unexpected. And leaving your beads in the car, just a little reminder that there was a devotee in South Africa, actually, who came to Navadip and told to Gurudev about how, Gurudev, my beads were stolen. There was nothing I could do about it. They were in the car and my car was stolen. And Gurudev didn't give any sympathy. He said, why did you leave your beads in the car? Your car can be stolen, but not to have your beads stolen. So he gave more value to the beads than the car. And Rupanuga, you know about having your car stolen. So unfortunately, and I can say to all the devotees, how detached Rupanuga Prabhu was when he had his car stolen. And he also, in his car, was something quite valuable, which was also taken at the time. And just, he turned his back and some stupid boys jumped in his car, stole the car just for fun, and then burnt it. How stupid. Bad association, teenagers. We all know the power, we hear the power of good association, but the power of bad association. And I'm quite sure that individually, the teenagers, they wouldn't do something like that. But when they're with each other, then that peer pressure does, makes them do foolish things. So we remember this from our school days, from our younger days. Very easy to get into bad association, but fortunately, if we can stay in good association, this will be very helpful. Jai. So, Rupanuga Prabhu, do your best in this way, with this mood, but always to serve the beads for some part in the day, but always to chant Krishna Nam and the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It is Maha Mantra. I do remember, understanding, reading for the first time about the Maha Mantra and thinking this is, an amazing mantra. And it's very easy for us to take it for granted and to take many things in our devotional life for granted after some time. But really to know what a super mantra the Maha Mantra is, and to remind ourselves and be reminded by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita, by Guru Maharaj and by Gurudev. And we just ourselves have been quite reminded with our readings over the last couple of weeks, which have been very Krishna Nam and Maha Mantra centered automatically. And still is. We are reading in Revealed Truth. And we're still in the 16th chapter. We're not reading a lot every day, but what we read, it is like very clear, paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of the glories of the holy name. I don't think I've got the 16th chapter in front of me. I forget the title of the chapter. But anyhow, those chapters of revealed truth, maybe even 14, 15, 16, it seems to me that we've been continually hearing about the glories of the holy name over the last couple of weeks in our readings. In our breakfast, this is our breakfast, spiritual breakfast. And your spiritual breakfast too, dear devotees. We wish you to have a nourishing breakfast, not to cheat your heart. Srila Prabhupada's saying of Srila Gurudev eating muri for breakfast. Eating muri, puffed rice, like whatever name you want to give it. And dear devotees, spelled M-U-D with a dot under I, pronounced muri. And our example, or one of our examples of pronunciation of the Bengali with the diacritics. The diacritics have a purpose. And that D with a dot under in the middle of a word is ara, muri. So Srila Prabhupada was saying of Gurudev, taking muri for breakfast is just cheating the stomach. There's no proper nourishment there. And while Srila Prabhupada was taking puris cooked in ghee, etc. Hare Krishna. So we like to have a puris cooked in ghee breakfast of the heart by reading Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, as well as, of course, the puja, the parikrama, the bhajans, etc. But naturally. And we like that you have that nourishing breakfast, everybody, too. Not only, we visit the temple for 3 days, and we did like that. But the temple is showing how we can live at home and make our own home into a temple. And in China, maybe the first time I went to China, I was quite surprised how the devotees, they had a regular flat in the regular, those tall buildings with so many flats in every building. And they happily sang with the windows open, the Maha Mantra and the bhajans, and did some puja with the bell. They happily sang. They did a program, and they not negotiated, but talked with their neighbors and everybody to make friends with them so that they know what they're doing. We're doing a happy thing, please don't mind. And very nice reaction from the people. And everybody, we can be not afraid of what we're doing. We should happily be able to chant in our home, and maybe not very loud everything if it's 6 a.m. in a residential area, but still we should be happy to do our program, and others will hear. We just make them our friends and let them know, oh, this is a good thing and what we are doing. You can come and join us too if you like. So the holy name, the holy name, the holy name, I understand there is no other way, no other way, no other way than to chant the Lord's name in this age of Kali. And we are in the age of Kali, Kali Yuga. And anything we do, we need to have the holy name of the Lord. It's not that we do a fire sacrifice or anything else, or puja or anything else, and we omit the name of the Lord. The essential part is the name of the Lord. So chanting on the japa, but chanting also. From big bead to small bead, 1 round. From small bead to big bead, 1 round. And while we're mentioning chanting japa, when we chant Panchatattva the Panchatattva Maha Mantra, I mean, just to mention this, because I didn't know anybody thought it, but then it did turn up, that some devotees, and not only one, but when we brought it up in a gathering, many devotees, they thought that you're meant to chant the Panchatattva Maha Mantra on the first bead of the japa. It is not so. It is, I mean, it is surely not so. We've been in many initiations by Guru Maharaj and by Gurudev. And it's before you chant your japa, you chant the Panchatattva Maha Mantra. It's not that is being chanted on a particular bead. It's being chanted before we chant the japa. And then starting on the first bead, the big bead beside the sumero, the bigger of the 2 beads that are each side of the sumero, starting on that bead, we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So, I mean, just because it did come up recently, so we share that with you, that this is I mean, really it is the way. So some misunderstanding is somewhere along the way from the devotees have been saying, oh, you should chant the Panchatattva Maha Mantra on the first bead. It is not so. Hey Govinda, from Praneshwari, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami revealed truth, the transcendental vibration form of the Lord. Really, I would like somebody else to read rather than me. I mean, I'm happy to read, but as I said at the beginning, I don't want it to be only me. And how about we have Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu read for us? Because he looks like a sadhu. And actually, Bhagavan Prabhu is with us too. He also looks like a sadhu. Both of you look very sadhu-ish. I'm sure all of you look like sadhus, but you don't all have the video on. So we'll ask Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu if we can. Vrindavan Chandra, you read the first chat that's in the chat box. And Bhagavan Prabhu, would you like to read the next one? Because it includes Drishtai, Swabhava, Janitai. It includes some Sanskrit. And maybe you can read, then after the first reading, you could read that and the translation of that verse.
Maharaj, you know, my English is not good, Maharaj. I don't know how to read English. I can understand, but I'm not. I don't know how to pronounce.
Bhagavan Prabhu, we'll be happy to hear from you if you accept our humble request. And the first part isn't English; it's Sanskrit.
That's worse for me. That's because I don't know Sanskrit. I don't know Bengali. I don't even know how to speak Spanish in a good way. So I will hear from you people Please.
The humility of the
No,
Vaishnava.
that's not because I'm humble, but that's the real thing, the reality. How to express myself in Spanish, and that is my mother language. That's not so good, but to say it in English or Bengali or what to say about Sanskrit. That's,
Bhagavan Prabhu, so happy to hear you also now. So our wish has been fulfilled by hearing your voice and hearing you. So Bhagavan Prabhu, no problem. We're not going to give you any difficulty. We will manage.
Dear Maharaj, for the second post, I would like to ask Paramananda Prabhu, because he is the one who is suggesting it.
And he knows it off by heart without even looking at it.
Yes, and Vida Chandra Prabhu, he can read the first post.
Okay, Vrindavan Chandraru, you got your microphone on. You've done all your purification, sitting like a sadhu on the banks of the Dnipro River. Tell us, please, Gurudev's words from Revealed Truth. Let us hear.
Please accept my obeisances, dear Vaishnavas, Gurudev. Okay, so the transcendental vibration form of the Lord. The devotees will perform so many activities in their lives, but while they are doing their work, they will always try to chant Krishna's name. Then, though their habit of chanting, their mood of mind will transform. When the habit of remembering the Lord comes to us, we will not be able to leave it. We have many habits that we cannot leave. Someone may have an intoxication habit. Someone may have an eating habit. Many persons have so many habits, but if we make our habit only to chant, then we will always chant Hare Krishna within our mind. It is not necessary to show our remembrance and chanting to others, though. It's only necessary to chant the holy name with quality, that is, a mood of trying to satisfy the Lord.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, wonderful.
I hope so.
Sorry, were you adding something?
I hope so.
Oh, you hope so? Okay, Jai. All right, and the next part, that was Gurudev speaking. And now this is Rupa Goswami speaking. And Sripad Paramananda Prabhu, we are inviting to read this or to recite it from memory, from the heart.
Maharaj, let's talk about the beads, Tulsi beads, kind of reminded me about this verse, and we had a similar conversation with Goswami Maharaj one day on that subject of what to do if Tulsi beads, we can say, got contaminated, which Goswami Maharaj dismissed based on Guru Maharaj and Gurudev explanation that nothing in this material world, in the whole creation, can even remotely touch the divine nature of Tulsi, even though she may appear in the form of the tree, in the form of the wood, and externally may look contaminated. So, and really that was a good reminder, because I did forget about it. And sometime it came from a point of sometime where in a situation where you have to enter, for example, a bathroom, and you do carry your Tulsi beads with you. In fact, you not only carry Tulsi beads, you also have kantimalas on your neck. They're also entering unpure places. So that was my question. Maharaj did reminded me about that. And then I also quoted this verse to him and said, yes, this is a good illustration of this conversation. So that's why I suggested this verse. And like you say, it's from Rupa Goswami. And I think I'm bad with numbers, but I would say it's the 6th I'm not sure if I did give a proper reference to Praneshwari Didi, the 6th verse. Vishis Rishtva Swabhava Janitairva Pushasya Dosherna Prakritasya Iha Bhakta Janasya Pashit Ganga Basamna Kalubud Buddha Pena Panka Brahmahatravattam Apagachvasi Niradharma. And there Srila Rupa Goswami explains that we should not see devotee with mundane eyes. We should not see the external manifestation of a devotee of Krishna. And he's giving a perfect illustration to that. And pretty much everyone, many devotees can relate to that, including Madhusudan Maharaj, Jivana Didi, Praneshwari Didi, Bhagavan Prabhu, and others who's been to Navadvip and witnessed the Ganges, how the Ganges flow and how externally she manifests herself. And then you will see that it's not an, let's say, crystal clear water, and it carries so many things. Ganga, Bhasam, Nakhalu, Budbuda, Pena, Pankar. There is a foam, there is some drifting things, there is some mud in the waters. So that is the nature of the water. But yet, Ganges remains the most pure substance in this world, one of the most pure substances in this world. Nothing can contaminate Ganges water, but Ganges water can purify everything, no matter how dirty and abominable is that. So in a similar way, coming back to Tulsi, I mean, who is Tulsi? If we're thinking about the nature of Tulsi, she is a great devotee, and not just great devotee of the Lord. In fact, Krishna doesn't like to take absolutely anything if the Tulsi leaves are not offered with that. And he likes to have Tulsis 24/7. I don't know what's the count in Galoka Maharaj, maybe you know the weeks and the hours of the day, but pretty much all the time Krishna would like to be surrounded by the Tulsi, reminded about the Tulsi, and have some remnants of the Tulsi. And we hear this verse from Srila Goswami Maharaj recently on his appearance day of Rupa Goswami, when he quoted how 4 Kumaras became devotees just by inhaling the aroma of the Tulsi leaves offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. It completely broke their impersonal meditation. Just that broke their impersonal meditation, and just that was enough for them to become devotees, to become 4 Kumaras as we know of them. We don't really focus on 4 Kumaras as the worshippers of impersonal conception. We know them as the great devotees of the Lord. So again, coming to the same point, this verse of Rupa Goswami illustrates that nothing can touch nature and the heart of a devotee. And we can go on about it. There's so many beautiful verses describing how we should become Dharmatma, that famous verse, Abhishek Sudurachara. This is our vision. This is what we should develop. No matter how devotees look like, they may even misbehave externally, but if we focus on their devotion and their heart, we can always see them pure in their nature, pure in their intentions, and the rest Krishna will take care of. But Tulsi is one of the greatest devotees of the Lord, one of the dearest. Krishna, I can say Radharani is Krishna Priya, no doubt, but she is also Krishna Priya, very dear to the Lord. So in that case, nothing can contaminate the Tulsi. And sometimes Srila Goswami Maharaj also pointed out, and that was disapproved by Gurudev and Guru Maharaj, and Madhusudan Maharaj knows that too, how devotees sometimes cook the beets in the oil, they boil them in the boiling oil. Really, it's painful to see.
Yeah.
And really, Gurudev strongly disapproved that, and they just want to beautify them, look them more from their sense of beauty. I don't know what it is, but thinking, oh, they're going to look more nice, more beautiful, nice and brown. Or maybe because they want them to be dark, so they don't have to wash them all the time because of some accumulation. And Gurudev commented that actually, the darker they become, the more it will be the evidence that you're actually chanting your japa. And that natural oil, I don't know what you call it. Is there a good word for that except the grease? And
Don't you have a word in the antique business?
A patina, Maharaj.
Patina.
So that natural patina will occur, and it will not make them look dirty. It will actually beautify them, because you will look at them and you will think, oh, I actually served my beads. I actually try to fulfill the desires and instructions of my Guru Maharaj. That will give us some hope. We tried, at least we tried. We're not going into the quality of chanting right now. We're talking about tools a bit. So, Brahma Dravatmam Apagachati Niradharma. Niradharma means it's the nature of the things. Like the water always carries things with it. Just like the Ganges, it appears external as water. There's always things floating in the water. So in a similar way, wood have certain niradharma. It can get some patina, it can get some cracks, and it can get a little sticky sometime, or etc. But trust me, Rupanuga Prabhu, whatever happened in that flood, the tulsi beads did not get contaminated from the spiritual sense. Now, externally, yes, we can say so. But internally, spiritual sense, on a deeper level, it's not only get not contaminated, but it also purified whatever area that were submerged into it. So your car now is a holy paraphernalia, and the land, wherever those waters went to, also become purified. And that is all confirmed in Shastras. It's not just my imagination or a fairy tale I heard somewhere. It is confirmed by the Shastras and the Vaishnavas.
Jai. And that's a good point about the beads, because actually we've pretty much forgotten that devotees used to do that, and maybe still do that in some departments, that they put them in, I don't know about boiling, but hot oil. Hare Krishna. Really, that fell off our radar, that we need even to mention that. It's kind of unthinkable. But because of the grace of Gurudev, really, it has become unthinkable from a long time ago. Hare Krishna. And just before that, then we had that in the chat box just before that, then we had the quote about the holy names and our habit. Make our habit chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Yes, habit. Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. Oh dear, habit. Good morning. Who's saying good morning? Who's that? Jeevan? Oh, is somebody saying good morning to Rupanuga Prabhu? Okay, but I heard it is Jeevana's voice. I think that's a sign that Jeevana was saying good morning to us. Jeevana, please open your microphone and share some Prabhupada Guru Maharaj Gurudev Harikatha with us.
Oh my goodness, Maharaj, you are just endlessly generous with this ridiculous little nonsense person here who somehow or other flopped into complete mercy and is still trying to see what it's all about, honestly. Anyways, really beautiful talk about the Tulsi beads. That's really, really nice. And about not keeping them and even being very conscious of where we keep them. So, but you can't ever say what can happen in a flood. Poor Australia, my goodness. Well, I was just reading from the Prapanajivanamrita, and I was in the chapter, just reading in the chapter, Rejection of the Unfavorable. And there's this really beautiful verse about the practice of finding faults in others must be abandoned. Kind of changing the subject, though.
Didi, no problem. Anything from Prabhupada
Okay.
And to help us not find faults in others is appropriate in every time, place, and circumstance.
Okay. So this was a really beautiful sloka, and it's actually from Krishna himself to Uddhava. And Guru Maharaj is saying the practice of finding faults in others must be abandoned. And Krishna is saying to pointlessly judge others is a defect, and therefore such a practice must be abandoned. O Uddhava, you should neither praise nor abuse the nature and actions of others, because you will become preoccupied with falsehood and your best self-interest will be lost. So I sort of had a question on that to understand a little better, because we praise the devotees a lot, all the time. That's kind of like our life. So I was thinking there might be some other kind of understanding here about neither praise nor abuse the nature and actions of others. Of course, it's saying of others, it's not saying specifically about the devotees. But I was thinking maybe there's some more understanding that can be had for this.
Well, there is, and actually you already know it because you are more or less referring to how we hear from Gurudev that to praise the devotees, this is our healthy religion, in fact, to see the good qualities in the devotees and give praise to the devotees. But giving praise or criticism of the mundane nature of anybody, of like regular people, to praise a president or to criticize a president. Okay, we shouldn't say president because maybe they think we're talking about a president of a country. We're not referring to any individual. To praise a mundane person or to criticize a mundane person. What's the point? But we want to see the qualities, the devotional qualities. And by pointing out the devotional qualities in others means that's giving proper recognition for what is valuable in others, which is their devotional qualities, not that they can do so many things and stand on their head for 10 hours or, I mean, whatever it is. There are so many things which people can be praised for in the material world or criticized for in the material world. But we have nothing to do with that. We have only to do with devotional life. And in devotional life, then we've been given the illumination, especially by Gurudev and especially by Guru Maharaj, because immediately comes to mind the Guru Maharaj saying that this is like one of the secrets of devotional life, is to see the devotional qualities in others and to praise that and to appreciate that and not to criticize. Because if we criticize the qualities, especially in the devotee, then if we criticize them, then we're chewing that. That's in our like chewing department, and then that bad quality will come to us. But if we praise the devotional quality in the devotees, we're chewing that, and that devotional quality will come to us. So in relation to devotees, then we've got our guidelines given by Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. And there are these two injunctions, not to criticize and not to praise. And then I don't want to name a name, but I know in the Chaitanya Charitamrita there's a Leela, and one of the great personalities, nature was to criticize always the behavior of others and not to praise. And there is a mention in Chaitanya Charitamrita that out of these two injunctions, then the stress is given not to criticize others, and less stress is given on the other one, not to praise others. But still that is in the context of mundane ability or etc., etc. And also we must be very careful about giving, like you can say, making devotees, they say in ISKCON, puffed up, to give too much praise without the adhikar being behind for digesting that praise. And we can say then, it's a little bit dangerous too, that we want all devotees, dear devotees, please everybody keep their feet on the ground, no matter how much helium is being blown into the balloon. Don't let the balloon fly into the sky. We have our feet on the ground because we know we're in the material world. So if any praise comes to us, we must try to think like Gurudev would do. He would see any devotional quality, even if it's 0.25% or something, very small within, and we may think that's small. That may even be big for a lot of us. 99.9% of our willing, feeling, and thinking is materially in the material sphere. But if there's 0.99, okay, oh, that's just 1%, right? If there's 1%, which is actually the devotional side, Gurudev would see that, and like the embers in a fire, a little bit of fire there, then he would fan those embers so that some fire would come that would become more prominent. But that's in the special hand of Gurudev, and he knows how much you can fan the fire without putting it out, and how much you can fan the fire in order to encourage, to give encouragement. And Praneshri, did he just posted a short quote? And Praneshri, who is this from? Oh no, Paramananda.
No, no.
So where is that balance in glorification? That balance in glorification is something like the judgment of not preaching the glories of the holy name to the faithless. It's not a cut and dried answer. I mean, that's my immediate feeling, that really we have to try to assess everything properly and see whether our own presentation of that glorification is genuine. That's also a matter. We have to be genuine in our glorification and not just flattery. And Gurudev directly said, I'm not a flatterer. I'm not a flatterer. And like strongly said, I'm not a flatterer. I'm telling the glories of such and such devotee. When he's genuinely giving the glorification. And in Gurudev's hands, his purity makes everything all harmonized and perfect. So we are not to be flatterers, and we must be genuine in that appreciation of the devotional qualities of the devotees. But yes, to say what is the right balance, it is a matter of judgment for time, place, and circumstance. Because, unfortunately, I mean, we've seen also, not one, but we've seen different cases in the world where somehow some little click happens, and then devotee starts to think, oh, I am, I am. Like only those qualities. And then it becomes difficult for the devotee. Too much praise is also kind of harmful for the devotee being praised, if not able to digest and not able to pass on. So difficult, but we'll go for the glorification part. And if any hesitation, we can glorify in our mind and not make it within the earshot. Sometimes we say to the devotees, and we actually said that here yesterday evening with our Hari Gopal from Latvia. He's leaving us today. He's going, he's going to London. I'll see him tomorrow, in fact. But anyway, he's leaving from Italy. He's been here from Latvia for a while. And Madhurananda Prabhu, Shanti-Moy, who are the two pillars who are here in the temple, they really appreciate his service attitude. And we told him maybe on the first day he was here about this expression of that we heard on Back to Basics for the first time, I think, which was, what is surrender? It's to smile and say yes. So he's really been following this, and he's been very active. And so yesterday evening, we actually were giving some acknowledgement to him, and with him sitting right beside me, we're saying, don't tell Hari Gopal Prabhu, but everybody here appreciates his devotional qualities. So, we have to say things in a way that devotees don't, I mean, he's not going to fly off into the sky. He's got his feet on the ground and in the mud. He's been in the garden. He knows how to get his feet muddy.
Maharaj, there's a famous story that Srila Goswami Maharaj likes to tell, when Srila Govinda Maharaj publicly saying so many wonderful things about him, to the point that he's like in the midst of that saying, Govinda Maharaj, enough. Really, it's enough. I cannot handle anymore. And he says, Govinda Maharaj was upset, visibly upset with that. And he said, Maharaj, I'm practicing my religion. I'm saying I'm not doing a flattery. I don't want from you anything, but I'm feeling that. I'm feeling the necessity to glorify the good qualities because your service satisfied Guru Maharaj and so many other Vaishnavas. So that's why I'm doing that. So I'm asking, where is that balance? Because it will be a fault, as Srila Govinda Maharaj pointed so many times about it, a fault on our side not to acknowledge. And when there is a chance to glorify the Vaishnava, because it is a practice of our religion. So if we are going to withhold it and keep it afraid, oh, they will get puffed up, they will get puffed up. On that, Srila Govinda Maharaj said that my duty or my job is to glorify, your job is to digest. So we cannot restrain ourselves on one side from glorifications, not flattery. Flattery means you want something from that person. But sometimes you're so inspired, you have to say, there's nothing you can do, but you have to glorify the Vaishnava for your own sake. So that's the balance I'm kind of thinking about. And their problem is to digest that. So I guess the priority must be given on how to digest the glorification and not how to not glorify them. So they have to digest that. But our duty is to glorify.
And what is all wealth is for Narayan, all glorification is for Guru, and all enjoyment is for Krishna. This has been given to us too. Kana Kamani Pratishta. This is where they have their proper place. So to be passed on, you say when somebody offers something, then we need to pass that on. And this is what we're doing. Somebody gives something nice, we pass it on. And the tasty things, somebody gives us something tasty, well, we give to the Lord. They're giving to us to give to the Lord, so we're giving to the Lord. And he is with us is Seva Rupa. Yesterday she gave some tasty things, and then later she happened to be in the kitchen doing the kitchen Seva, but then we're bringing through the tasty thing she's giving. Oh, here, this is for you, this is for you. Yes, okay, for me, but what are we going to do? We're going to give it to Giriraj. Here, Giriraj is the head of the house. And then is prasadam, and everybody had some prasadam. And it's true what it said on the packet. It said on the packet, sweet and sticky. And we're thinking, oh, Giriraj, he has, like he doesn't have teeth like us that are going to stick together when you try to take this sweet. But Giriraj had tasted it. So tasty things will go to the Lord. Pratishta will go to Guru in this way. Kanak, Kamani, and Pratishta are the three main disturbing elements. I'm reading from Srila Guru Maharaj, and this is on the back of one of the books, the quote, Kanak, Kamani, and Pratishta are the three main disturbing elements that misguide us and draw us from this side to that. Anyway, okay. But when we are free from them, the street we walk shall be broad and clear. Oh, that may not be on the back of one of the books, but that is.
It is.
It is, yeah. Okay, but it is a poster we made too. In Navadip, we made many of these small posters with a little frame around to remind devotees where they are and what we're doing. That it's not a hotel, it's not a regular ashram, which is pilgrims have just a place to crash and do then whatever they want outside. It's the place for us to be always reminded of our conduct from inside to out and from outside to in also. Hare Krishna. Oh, it is Sentient Anthology back cover. Thank you, Praneshwari Devi. Hare Krishna. Oh, dear devotees, I've been very bad. I didn't look to see. On Facebook, I'm sure we've got devotees with us on Facebook too, with messages and obeisances and all good things. Back to basics. Click, click, click. Oh yes, dear devotees on Facebook, thank you for all your messages. Gaurangi Didi, Kelly Kadamba selling flowers, no, sending flowers, not for any price and obeisances. And Raj Bhawan Yadav with hearts and Krishnas and clapping and many good things, and maybe others I can't see. Dear devotees, let us all chant our japa nicely. And when we're in an environment like here and like the world, actually, early in the morning is so peaceful. Just listen how peaceful it is. Very peaceful. And that's with the windows open. It's only me making a noise into the environment. But early morning is so peaceful. Now, take some time to come outside into the air, see as the light of dawn is entering, chant our japa, do our spiritual practices happily with heart. It shouldn't be an ordeal. It should be something, okay, in the beginning, some instruction to the mind, but as also from Upadeshamrita, Rupa Goswami says that gradually our disease will be cured and we will come to taste the sweetness of the holy name. And we have some hints in this life, and we have some wonderful glorification in the talks, the writings, and everything of our grand masters. And recently we read that it's the only purpose of the purpose of human life is to chant the holy name without offense. I read it recently, and I probably can't pick that quote up instantly, but it was in Revealed Truth, because that's what we're reading. That is the only purpose of our human life, to chant the holy name without offense. Not sure if Praneshwari can find that quote quickly or not. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, not in that book. Where is?
Wasn't it the translation of the last verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj?
It may be, but it was given by Srila
Gurudev.
Srila Gurudev in his own way of translating, if you know what I mean. I may not quickly find it. Anyhow, take it from me, but take it from me, Gurudev did give this. Whether those exact words, okay, I don't find it immediately, dear devotees. Our necessity is to connect with the wave of devotion descending from the transcendental world through the Lord's holy name and offer ourselves for its purpose. I'm not immediately finding. Anyhow, dear devotees, without finding, here is the evidence of what Gurudev said. Certainly that indication was given in different words, perhaps. Jason, I trust you. Okay, Jason. Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti, wonderful, my best Sanskrit, wonderful, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, wonderful, Srila Bhakti Rakha Krida Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, wonderful, Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai, Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Bhaga ki Jai. We just had Rupa Goswami's disappearance day, and a day to remind ourselves what we are connected with. And this is Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu. It's Mahaprabhu who gave Rupa Goswami to us. This is the line of Rupa Goswami, protected by Jiva Goswami, protected by Srila Saraswati Thakur, Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, and Srila Prabhupada. And we are in this wonderful time of this pure wave of Krishna consciousness, which is circling the world. And we need to stay in that pure wave and not allow anything to try to draw us to the bank and to the dirty things on the bank of that river with the waves inside. This is the wonderful current which we're connected to. So Jai to the current of Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki Jai, and Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Jai Shri Hari Nama Sankirtan ki Jai, all Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai, and all the Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, and all of the assembled Vaishnavas ki Jai, and Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Sindhubhya Evacha, Atitanam Avanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranam. Speak with you all soon, see you soon, chant Hare Krishna, and one other thing, be happy. This is what the other thing is.
Dandavat.
Dandavat, and to all of you who are here, Muktinath Prabhu is also here with us. I didn't see you earlier. Muktinath Prabhu. All of you always remembered Madhavi, Ajita, Gangalila, Radha Sundari, and Madhavi Latri Nodessa there, and Dana K. Oh, sending lots of hearts and flowers also. And Jason, thank you for your sweet comment. Bhagavan Prabhu, in particular, our senior devotee with us, Praneshwari Devirasi, with our appreciation, really thinking of you before the program today, thinking how really you deserve a great ki jai for your consistency over the years in all many departments of the devotional life and community. So we really that appropriate glorification, pointing out devotional qualities. And Leela Moy Prabhu, all sincere-hearted, and the devotees with us on Facebook and in the recordings, our appreciation, obeisances. Jai Shri Guru and Shri
Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai to all the pilgrims to Vila Govinda Ashram, Italy. That's Seva Rupa for those of you who don't recognize the background. It's a little dark. She's in the Prasadam hall.
And Maharaj, we had Ajita Krishna of Russia today with us. There's Ajita Krishna from United States and the Russian Ajita Krishna.
Okay, Jai Ajita Krishna from USA. And yes, I see Ajita Krishna offering something to Gurudev. Just see, he's there with him.
So he is the Russian Ajita Krishna.
Da, si, yes, ha, we, whatever language we are going to use today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dandavat Pranam. Take care. Have a good week. Don't forget, whatever you do, take the holy name along with your activity.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Beautiful.